One of the ways you can attract right information and help is by doing something wrong in public. I do this a lot and it works really well. When I do things wrong in public, there's no cost to me because I don't have embarrassment. But the effect is that all the people who know I did something stupid, they flow in and say, oh, let me correct you. Here's a link, here's some knowledge you didn't know, and then I share it with you. So we're all going to get smarter because I lack embarrassment. You see how this works? Here's another example where my complete lack of embarrassment comes in useful. And I talk about this as a superpower, something I've learned over the years. It's not something you're born with, because we're born with an ability to be embarrassed quite easily. You have to really work to make it not bother you and not be a thing in your life. But at this point, I would say I can report that I don't really get embarrassed. I just don't. And it really works well. Here's an example. So in a recent live stream, I made a completely inaccurate statement that our air conditioning systems do not use this UV light, the special far UV that we know kills the virus. There might be some other kind of UV light in some units, but basically it's not a thing. Turns out it's a thing. Turns out I'm completely wrong. So everything you heard me say, and again, here's where my lack of embarrassment comes in handy. One of the ways you can attract right information and help is by doing something wrong in public. I do this a lot and it works really well. When I do things wrong in public, there's no cost to me because I don't have embarrassment. But the effect is that all the people who know I did something stupid, they flow in and say, oh, let me correct you. Here's a link, here's some knowledge you didn't know, and then I share it with you. So we're all going to get smarter because I lack embarrassment. You see how this works? My lack of embarrassment will now educate you because it caused people to flow in and correct me. So Christian Haller tells me this. I'll just read what he said because he said it well. He said, he was surprised about my comments about UV systems not having that. He said, this is incorrect. All that we have checked, so he's involved in this industry, he says all that we have checked use UVC, which is the correct term for far UVC. So I think one of my problems was that I didn't recognize that UVC is synonymous with far UV. So I think that was part of the reason I thought it wasn't the same light. And then there was some Duke study that says that many of the commercial and residential systems have this two UVC devices on them, and that you would see them in purifiers for hospitals and stethoscope sterilizers, and there are vendors testing it, and it's a big thing. And there are a few different technologies, so it's not just the UVC light, but there's also some kind of hydrogen peroxide and O3, but it's not legal in California because of ozone or whatever. So there are a few different technologies, but here's the problem. They're expensive, so they're not going to be in your house. So they're expensive. You can put them in a big system in a hospital, but maybe too expensive for your house. Here's what I'd like to know. Do we have enough data yet that we can determine that the locations that have this technology have less spread than the places that don't? Now, you won't be able to check households, but it looks like at this point you could check maybe a hospital. You could probably check a senior home. You could check any facility that has one of these and say, how do they compare to the ones that don't have them? So this, again, is something that I feel like if nobody's working on finding out that, if you can tell the difference, the places that have it versus that don't, that's a big, big deal, isn't it? Like a big, 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 big deal, if it works. Because if it works, that means it's just a case of money. Now, what Christian said when he was correcting me, he said that I believe that they've had this technology in his home, and they haven't had, we no longer get colds. It's been 10 years now. So his family has been 10 years without a cold. I don't know how that works if you ever leave the house, but good for them.